Most people get this wrong when trying to start a company in Sudan. They think it is just paperwork and a quick registration. But here's the truth no one tells you. The real challenge is not the idea, or even the capital. It is understanding the legal process, approvals, and how business registration actually works in a system that is still heavily procedural and document-driven. If you miss one requirement, or submit incomplete paperwork, your company formation can be delayed for weeks, or even months. But here's the good news. Once you understand the exact step-by-step system, starting a company in Sudan becomes structured and predictable. It is not random. It follows a clear legal path. You just need to know it properly. In this guide, you will learn exactly how to start a company in Sudan in 2026. From choosing your business structure, to registering with authorities, getting tax identification, opening a bank account, and staying compliant long-term. And in a minute, I'll also show you the most common mistake foreign investors make in Sudan that quietly slows down their entire setup process. Let's begin with the basics. The first thing you need to understand is that Sudan's business environment relies heavily on formal registration through government institutions. Unlike fully digital systems in some countries, Sudan still requires physical documentation and official approvals at multiple stages. So patience and accuracy are not optional. They are essential. Now before you register anything, you must decide your company structure. Most businesses in Sudan typically choose between a limited liability company and a sole proprietorship. For most entrepreneurs, especially those starting medium or scalable businesses, the limited liability company structure is the most practical. Let's make this real. Imagine Alex, an investor from Europe, who wants to start a trading business in Khartoum. He does not want personal liability exposure. He wants a scalable structure with partners if needed. So he chooses a limited liability company. That decision alone shapes all his next steps. But here's where many beginners make a mistake. They choose a structure without thinking about long-term operations. That leads to complications later, when they try to expand or bring in partners. So always start with clarity on your business goals. Now once you choose your structure, the next step is name reservation. Your company name must be unique and approved by the relevant registration authority. You will typically submit multiple name options in case your first choice is already taken. Now here's where it gets interesting. Name approval is not just about availability. It also depends on compliance with naming regulations. Certain words may be restricted or require additional approval. So if John, a foreign entrepreneur, submits a name that includes sensitive or regulated terms, his application may be delayed, even if the name is technically available. This is why it is always smart to prepare alternative names and keep them simple, clear, and professional. Once your name is approved, you move into one of the most important stages: document preparation. This is where most people fail, because they assume it is just filling forms. But, in reality, this step defines your entire company legally. You will need foundational documents such as identification documents, shareholder details, company address, and articles of association. Now the articles of association is very important. It defines ownership, management structure, capital distribution, and operational rules of your company. Think of it as the legal DNA of your business. Now let's take another example. Zara, a business owner from the US, prepares her documents quickly using an online template. But the template does not fully comply with Sudanese legal requirements. As a result, her application is returned for correction. This is where most people lose time. They underestimate the importance of local compliance formatting. So the smart approach is to ensure your documents are reviewed by someone familiar with Sudanese business registration requirements before submission. Now once your documents are ready, you submit them to the Commercial Registry Authority. This is the stage where your company is officially reviewed for legal registration. But here's the problem. Submission does not mean instant approval. Authorities may request clarifications, corrections, or additional documents. And this is completely normal. The key is to respond quickly and accurately. Delays usually happen when applicants are unprepared to handle revision requests. Now in a minute, I'll show you a simple preparation strategy that can significantly reduce back-and-forth delays during registration. After approval, you receive your commercial registration certificate. This is one of the most important documents in your entire process. It officially confirms your company exists as a legal entity. Without it, you cannot proceed to tax registration or banking. Now the next step is tax registration. Every company in Sudan must register with the tax authorities. This ensures your business is recognized for taxation and compliance purposes. Once registered, you are issued a tax identification number. This number is required for invoices, contracts, and financial transactions. But here's something important. Many new business owners delay tax registration, thinking they are too small to be taxed. That is a mistake. Without it, your company is not fully operational in the legal sense. So always complete tax registration early. Now let's talk about licensing. Depending on your business activity, you may need additional sector-specific licenses. For example, import-export businesses, construction firms, financial services, and telecommunications all require special approvals. This is where things can become more complex. But here's a simple way to understand it. The more regulated your industry, the more approvals you need. So if Alex is running a small consulting firm, his licensing process may be simple. But if John is importing industrial machinery, he will likely need additional permits. Now let's move to one of the most critical steps. Opening a corporate bank account. Without a business bank account, your company cannot function properly in the financial system. To open a corporate account in Sudan, you typically need your registration certificate, tax number, identification documents, and company details. Banks may also request proof of business activity or contracts depending on compliance requirements. Now here's the problem many foreigners face. Banking approval can take time due to verification procedures. This is why having complete documentation is essential. The more organized your paperwork, the smoother your banking process will be. Now I want to pause here and highlight something important. Many people think company registration is the final step. But in reality, it is just the beginning. After registration, you enter the compliance phase. Compliance means maintaining your legal status every year. This includes tax filings, license renewals, and keeping company records updated. If you ignore compliance, your company can face penalties or even suspension. So long-term success is not just about formation. It is about maintenance. Now let's talk about foreign ownership. Sudan allows foreign investment in many sectors, but some industries may require local partnerships or specific approvals depending on regulatory frameworks. This is not a barrier. It is just part of the structure. Many international companies operate successfully in Sudan by working within these frameworks. Now here's where it gets interesting. Sudan has opportunities in sectors like agriculture, trade, construction, logistics, and energy-related services. These are growing areas where early positioning can be valuable, but opportunity only works if your legal foundation is correct. Now let's walk through the full process step by step so everything is clear. First, you select your business structure based on your goals. Second, you reserve your company name. Third, you prepare legally compliant documents. Fourth, you submit for commercial registration. Fifth, you obtain your registration certificate. Sixth, you register for tax and obtain a tax number. Seventh, you apply for any required business licenses. Eighth, you open a corporate bank account. And finally, you maintain ongoing compliance every year. That is the complete system. Now let's make it practical with a real-world example. Imagine Ahmed, an entrepreneur starting a logistics company in Khartoum. He begins by choosing an LLC structure. He prepares multiple name options. He gets approval. He works with a local consultant to prepare his documents properly. He submits them and receives feedback for minor corrections. He updates them quickly and gets approval. He registers for tax, applies for logistics licensing, opens a bank account, and starts operations. This is how the process works in reality when done correctly. Now, here is the key insight. The difference between a smooth registration and a delayed one is preparation. Not effort. Not money. Preparation. Now, before we finish, let's quickly summarize everything. Starting a company in Sudan involves choosing the right structure, reserving a name, preparing compliant documents, registering with a commercial authority, obtaining a registration certificate, registering for taxes, securing industry licenses if needed, opening a bank account, and maintaining annual compliance. If you follow this process step by step, you are not guessing your way through business formation. You are building a legally structured company in a growing market. And now, you have a clear roadmap that most beginners never get. If this guide helped you understand how to start a company in Sudan, make sure to like the video, comment your questions below, and subscribe for more clear, step-by-step international business guides that simplify complex legal systems.